Well, and I have I know a lady who lives out near the Ann Cook property.
Man.
Are you kidding me?
What happened?
Stop. The video's gone.
Hey, this is Jerome.
This is Ginger.
And this is North Platte in a nutshell. And if you're watching, you can see we are joined by a couple of guests here. We've got Jesse and Becca, who are residents of North Platte, and they have a very interesting hobby, I would say.
I think it's absolutely fascinating.
It is.
And I was telling my best friend about this last night because she came over and we drank some wine.
Sweet.
What else do you do, right? And I go, guess what we get to do tomorrow? She's like, I'm so jealous. I want to do this with you. I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, we don't have enough microphones.
That's what I told her. Like, if we had a fifth, this could happen, but we don't.
So Jesse and Becca, you have YouTube channels.
Yes, sir.
And you specifically use them to hunt, I guess, ghost hunting, paranormal investigations, those kinds of things.
Yes, sir.
What got you started doing this?
For myself, it started, like I said, probably when we were kids. Grew up in a house on Front Street. You could be totally alone, and you would think, I don't know, it's odd because you get like a vibe that somebody's behind you, next to you, staring at you, and there's nobody there but you. And then what was like the sounds and the thuds and just, I don't know, it's creepy, and that's where it all started, was right there as kids. And I mean, they've been following us since our kids, or our parents were kids, you know what I mean? So It's like, wow. I mean, basically that's where it came from for us, just kids with an idea.
It grew over time because, I mean, we both ended up with a big fascination for wanting to ghost hunt, and I mean, like, yeah.
Absolutely.
I just like to ghost hunt. To investigate.
We like the things
what we
that
can find.
other people don't like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We're different, I guess.
It
that's
scares
okay.
a lot of people, but
Yeah, it does. Quite a bit, actually.
It's pretty interesting, though, just like when we were talking before, some of the things that you have gone out and you've done and just some of the experiences is pretty fascinating. And I think majority of the people have a big fascination in it. I mean, that's why Ghost Adventures, when it was on, what was it, Travel Channel?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. That was a huge thing. I mean, it's pretty interesting in and of itself.
Okay.
So do you primarily investigate around here, or do you kind of go everywhere?
for the time being, it's just here in town. We want to eventually get out there and explore. Colorado is one of the ones I actually want to go to this summer and check out, like the Stanley Hotel.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think.
Where was it?
We just went to Colorado Springs, and there was a town right next to them. I'm trying to think of what it was now.
Oh, the
Castle
small
Rock?
town. What was that?
It could have been, but they were saying that it was like an old witch town, and it's pure haunted.
Oh,
like, I
I
guess
know
you can
what
just
you're
walk
talking
down the
about,
street and
yeah.
you can get a voice.
Really?
So
Wow.
it would be really cool to check out.
Very interesting.
So when you say walk down the street and get a voice, you're obviously talking about equipment that you use to record.
Yeah.
And for those who are just now, if you're watching or listening, we did have a conversation ahead of time, and we'll talk about why it was such a long conversation in a minute because our equipment. But speaking of equipment, you do the YouTube, the videos, the recording and stuff with apps on your phone, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, just real basic. I mean, pick up a camera and get to it, man. That's what we do. I mean, we didn't spend hundreds of dollars on this fancy stuff. One of the apps that we are currently using is the Necrophonic. A lot of people are skeptical about it, but the scariest part about it is it's actually giving us answers, like intelligent answers. It's not just, nonsense, you know what I mean? It's giving us names. It said Becca dozens of times. I've heard my name finally coming up on it.
Yep.
God, what was it, just yesterday? Like, we kept getting a little child's voice, like a little girl kept saying daddy over and over. I mean, I don't know. It's scary, you know what I mean? It was kind of odd, but like when it came to that app is when I started noticing more. Like I was hearing things. My latest video I just did probably 3 days ago. It hasn't been edited quite yet. During the process of that, it was almost like a sensation of somebody sitting beside you, putting their hand on your shoulder, and I don't know. And plus, I was using the Ouija board too, so you mix all that together.
Right.
It's odd, man. I don't know. It's hard to explain. You know what I mean?
So the app that you're talking about is like you can ask questions and then they can answer through.
Yeah, it's
correct?
intelligently giving you an answer back. Like it gives you your name. It gives you like I was using a bright light. It said light is too bright, and it was like aggressive about it. It's like get it off. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, we're done with that.
Microphonics is kind of like a ghost box. It kind of runs through like your radio stations, but instead of having all that extra static, it goes and it gives you straight like responses. So
It's
like
a lot
I don't know,
clearer.
like it's not always like what you're asking, but there are legit questions that does get answered.
Basically, what you're saying, it cut out that frequency, that that was so hard to detect, a voice
Static
or a
sounds,
sound.
Yeah.
And it's just clear answers now. It's a beautiful app. It really is.
I know that there was somebody out at the museum who was using an app like that one time, and they walked into the church back there, and they asked a question, and it came up with church, and then the gust of wind, and then it said wind.
Yep.
And so, like, it's kind of interesting. I have one friend who is a complete skeptic who says that it has to, like, kind of know where you are, and so it's picking up things. Do you think there's any accuracy to that? To the skepticism of it?
Of course. I mean, it could be like recording us, maybe like and repeating what we say.
Like doing a loop.
Maybe a loop of some sort, but I don't know. It's hard to say, honestly.
It is hard to say because, I mean, if you think about it, you got to look at it from both views. You know what I mean? You can't just jump into it. Oh, this is that or it's that, because like the answers we were getting were intelligent answers. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that we said that it could repeat. We could just be sitting there and not say anything, and then automatically it'd say Becca, or it would say something that's in the room that's annoying it, or it'd just be an instant leave. And it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? And not saying a word, and it's just instantly coming on. And you can tell something's irritated already. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool. It really is.
What other kind of technology do you guys use? You were telling us about the rods that you were saying.
Yeah, they're called dowsing rods. I use those. We also use the Ouija board, but I'm not real fond on the Ouija board as much as he is. But the dowsing rods, they're pretty neat. You just hold them, and I'm not like real huge on dowsing rods. I don't know the whole like backstory. I do know some of it, but they're the craziest thing to use because like you can ask questions and they legitly answer the way you want them to. Like you have to say like yes or no answers, of course. And like if you say it to go to yes and you have one rod that moves, and like I can even ask to say no and the other rod will move to the no answer or yes answers, and I can ask him to point to Jesse and one of them will specifically point to him. I can ask it to point to my son, it'll point to him. It's crazy.
So you were talking about the Ouija board.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you like using that, and why don't you like using it?
I don't know. I got kind of an attachment to it, I guess, because the more I've used it, I kind of start to get the sense that something wants to work with me on it. I just don't have that full-blown, the planchet moved on its own nonsense, But I have gotten to the point where it's moved like just a centimeter here, a centimeter there, with the fingers over the top of it. To me, it feels like something's eventually getting to that point. So that's why I haven't quite given up on it. Whereas Becca, she's more into the dowsing rods because it's a direct answer. It's all the time. It's not sporadic here and there. So, I mean, that's probably why I prefer to use it more. Where I don't like using the dowsing rods because I don't get a response, off of them. Like, it'll sit there and it just kind of back and forth.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think certain people get answers when other people don't? Because I think a lot of times you see that, especially like on the TV shows, because we have all seen them.
Right.
So we see that they attach themselves to certain people, or they liken them, or even on the other side of that, truly disdain them and want them to leave. Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of it is we invoke certain things. Like, I'll be open about it. I've invoked the fact that, I'm trying to reach out there, and I think I'm getting my responses more and more that I've done so, as to where somebody who's like closing it out, being skeptical about it, you know what I mean? Which is still okay, because you don't always want that kind of thing, because like what happened with this earlier, something that attaches to us is utilizing energies, it's breaking stuff down, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it could be,
So let's dive into that a little bit more, like the
Yeah.
attachment, because that is something that is really, really interesting.
Right.
Because there are circumstances where you go into places and they do attach themselves to you and
absolutely.
they follow you home and
Yes.
they cause your moods to change. And
Yes.
some might say that those are more on the the demon side or the demonic. Am I saying that right?
Demonic.
Demonic.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Demonic. That's a math
All right.
thing. I don't do
It's
math.
cool though.
They might be more on that side of it. So, what is your guys' kind of take? And have you ever had anything like that ever happen?
I've actually had a lot of stuff going on at my house since I started using the dowsing rods more.
Her house is scary.
I've had
is.
not really towards me, it's more towards my boyfriend. I've had like legit stuff that I've had hanging on my walls come flying off at him. I've had a mirror in my bathroom that was hung up for probably about a year that ended up just, I don't know if it just,
the mirror.
it's like it melted and just shattered all over the place.
That mirror was scary looking.
Really?
That was weird.
My aunt had sent me this little a devil head, you could say, and
Oh,
I had it
yeah,
hanging
man.
in my house, and it dropped, and it hit my boyfriend right in the head. Damn,
Oh,
near
my
knocked
God.
him out cold. But
I remember that one.
yeah, we had a lot of stuff go on over there, and I always hear every morning walking in my attic. I don't know what that is. Even we heard it this morning. Last night I heard walking in the kitchen, and it's all the time. I don't,
So why do you think they attach themselves to you?
see, maybe because I'm so open to it, and
And I think that's a lot of it.
And
I think truthfully just being open to
I
it.
probably introduced it in like, hey, come in.
That was to say, I'm
Well,
sure,
how's
it,
it going?
you know, what happened earlier, we've introduced it into your home now, and we're sorry, but
So-
it won't stay. It'll come with us again. I can promise.
Just so you guys kind of
Yeah, so
have
everybody
an
knows what we're
understanding
talking about.
as to what was happening earlier. We were trying to hook up all the equipment, and Jerome and I have definitely had our
We've had
share
issues with our
of-
equipment.
Yeah. But this one was a little bit interesting because we've never had this one happen before. Like, we couldn't actually get the webcam or the camera on my computer to work so we could record it so YouTube can actually see us.
Yeah.
But, like, the
We're
green
sorry.
light wouldn't come on, nothing. And we've never had problems with that.
No.
Finally, I did get it to work. We recorded our sound check, went back and looked at it, and the stupid thing was actually recording. But, like, nothing
For
was...
8 minutes.
For 8 minutes.
right.
But it wasn't showing me anything.
Well, and I think the most interesting part of that is it was recording even through a restart.
Yeah.
When you shut your computer down
Yes.
and turned it back on, which should have
Right.
shut off everything, it continued to record video. So, and that, you know, I'm sure there's some tech people out there like you. Well, and like we talked about before we started, you don't necessarily go in. You go in with an open mind. It could be,
Yep.
it could be true or it could be debunked. You just go in to see what you can see.
Yep.
So I'm sure there's people out there like, well, this technological blah 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 blah, or you know, like I'm of the opinion where if one thing is true, the other could be true as well. So it could have just been a technical glitch, or it could be that something was fucking with her computer.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
So it's hard to tell.
It's a 50-50. I'm open to either or, you know.
I mean, there's a lot of times, like, you go into places, and I've had this happen.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this happen where I've had a fully charged camera battery. Fully charged.
Oh, yeah.
Walked into a place,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's zapped. And I'm like, what in the hell just happened here?
We've actually had to cut videos just because of that.
Yeah.
Or my audio goes fully out.
Yeah, and there's no audio on a brand new phone. Like, it's, whoa, you know what I mean? So, yeah, absolutely.
Video works great, no audio.
Yeah.
Damn, that video came out nice, man, but where the hell's the audio? Oh, it's gone because something didn't want to be heard, or we'll lose an entire video and have, you know, the complete opposite for no reason. You know, I mean,
the
we...
outro part, and that's all.
Yeah, our outro is the only thing that remained out of a 20-some minute video, you know, and it's like, where the hell is the rest of that video?
Yeah.
Or you got, like, what happened earlier, something started recording by itself, and it turns out that it's just a bunch of blank crap. You know, there's nothing there. But why did it happen?
I personally think it would be interesting. Like we'll go ahead and post all this, but it would be interesting to listen back to that 8 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, it would.
I'm going
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
As
And
soon
to
as
even
it-
view it, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
for those just listening to the audio, when I said that, like Jesse and Becca were both like, "Yes,
Yeah,
like,
hell
yes,
yeah.
let's listen to this."
Yeah.
You know, you were saying that, you know, things like this happen, that you feel like you've had something attached to you.
Yes.
You were also saying before we started that your parents had experienced things similar to what you have experienced.
Yes.
Do you think, knowing that your parents have experienced that. I don't know if your kids have experienced anything, but do you think there might be a hereditary element to that as well?
Oh yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
I recall. Do you remember when I was living in apartments? I was putting my youngest daughter in her crib at that time. And this is going to sound completely off the wall, but I sat her down in a pile of what looked like cat shit. And the whole room went completely black. Well, I looked down and realized what I was doing, and I lifted her back up in a hurry. Well, there was nothing in the bed.
I remember.
I turned to look at her stepsister, and she was laying on her belly, but her head was fully turned around, looking up at the ceiling. So I think, oh man, I don't know how to explain it. Like, since that point, my two kids, I don't think they've seen anything or really heard much. I know that Becca's son has seen something that pretty much scared the poop right out of him. So
He's scared to come home every now and then.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
that's
Do
I'll
you
let
guys
her
just
explain that
get the
because
feelings that somebody's there sometimes?
yeah, like right now you can feel it. You know what I mean? Like when all this started happening here, I was like, it was that instant feeling like, okay, there's somebody behind us again, you know.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we might even catch it on the camera. You never know.
Yeah.
It could be boom, there it is.
So there's an element that you guys have probably heard of this, where they call them seers, where you can kind of seize things, like almost like a medium, but it's a seer. In a sense.
Right,
It's a little bit
like-
different.
Like sensitive, yeah.
Sensitive, yes.
Right.
Do you guys think you have any of that? And if you do, how do you kind of pull it into this? Maybe is that what pulled you into it? Besides the whole family hereditary
Could
thing?
be.
It
Like
might
Becca,
have
I know
been,
is
yeah.
real sensitive to things. Like we could be somewhere that's,
Yeah.
oh, that's just so haunted, you know, and not a damn thing. You don't feel a thing.
And
We'll
then
go
there's
somewhere and
times
she's
I
just
can
like,
show
"We
up
gotta
and it
leave, dude."
just- Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, you know, we don't even record. We don't bother with it. It's like, no. You
Or
know?
just extremely emotional. It's weird. I don't.
It'll hit you like, oh, I'm sad all of a sudden, or I don't know, like a super, super sad where
hurting.
you need,
Or
yeah,
like
you need, yeah, like a pain. You know, it's hard to
Okay.
Like
explain
you
that.
almost feel what like
They feel?
What, yeah,
yeah.
what somebody
Yeah.
would have felt prior
Yeah.
to, I don't know, you know, whatever happened to them.
So do you ever feel like, because okay, I go back to these shows because I've seen everybody's seen them, so we kind of can relate to them.
Yeah.
Where you see like they say these presents go into them and they feel exactly that. Do you
Yeah.
ever feel like it's not you, that maybe you black out and it's somebody else coming through?
Luckily,
Kinda
I
like
have
living
not felt
what they
that
live.
yet, but
No, not yet like that. I mean, that's pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
But the vibes we do get, I mean, if you're not reading into them, I mean, you probably should.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's places, like I said, where it's like, all right, Jess, we got to leave. And it's like, oh, okay. You know, and then there's other places where it's just a bunk,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like debunking it, you know, literally. Because it's like, well, we were told this or we told that. You get there and there's really nothing but a crow in the attic, or, you know, there's a, God, what do they call it? Yeah, a cat, you know, crawling around in the basement. Totally debunked. There's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side, you know, there is that, like with Becca, all right, it's time to go. And it's time to go. So that's it, you know.
So what part does your guys' faith or religion play into this? I mean, because you mentioned before that, you know, you kind of have to have your prayer game in check, and you
Yeah.
have to be good with that. Do you guys pull that in? Do you guys rely on your faith?
I do a lot for both of us. Religious, I'm not the kind of person who's, you know, in and out of church day in and day out or whatever. I do believe that there's got to be a God. I mean, there has to be something. Otherwise, I mean, maybe it's just balls of energy like, you know, Jerome and I were speaking.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be that. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I mean, for me, yeah, I do. I put our religion, or my religion, out there to protect us, you know, which is why I wear so many, you know. But I don't know. For me, yeah, I bring religion into it.
I don't have a religion, so I'm not gonna
And I
go
say
into
Becca
it.
don't, so.
I mean, I believe there's something out there. I just don't know what it is. You know?
Well, and it's interesting because, like you both said, you believe something's out there, obviously, or
Yeah.
you wouldn't, you know,
Right.
be doing this.
Yeah.
But as far as because, like we were talking about before, answering that question as to what it is, if it's a soul, if it's a ball of energy, if it's something, like nobody really has that answer
Nope.
at all, and that's, I think, kind of frustrating, but also what's so intriguing and what you know, obviously pulls you to keep doing this is you're trying to find the answer.
Exactly.
So
See, and that's what I agreed with earlier. Is like, I want to know. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Some people get scared and don't want to. I want to know.
Well, my point
know what
is,
I mean?
if it is a spirit and it needs help, I want to be able to try to be like, let me try to help
Right.
you, or let me at least get the story out so that if something bad happened, then at least the world would know, even if
Right.
they don't believe us.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
Have you
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, because like you said, even if people don't believe you. So, and I think it's important that you said that as well, so that people who are listening who might be a little skeptical or
Yeah.
whatever,
Right.
thinking, these two whacks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We get
But-
it a lot. So
yeah.
So we're used to that. It's okay.
Right, but I mean, at least you're willing to acknowledge that some people may not believe this, and that's okay. Which I think is awesome that you're not trying to push like this is an absolute.
Yeah,
because-
Right.
Everybody's entitled
This
to
is the
their
truth,
own
man.
opinions.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and
You
you
know.
even said you come through with a voice of skepticism as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
I sure do.
Well, I think in something like this, you'd kind of have to,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
because if you didn't, then you could go too far one way or the other. And,
Every little
Exactly.
sound could be something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. From a fly farting in the wind. Oh, that was a ghost whispering. No,
Right.
no.
YouTubers, I'm not going to mention them or anything, but yeah, there are YouTubers that take that to a new
Oh,
extent
jeez.
where
Yeah.
every single noise, oh, it's a ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a demon. And
Everything's
it's like,
haunted.
I mean, everybody knows that's not. Come on, that's not real.
Right.
That's not
No, and then that's just a good point right there. We're not shoving it down your throat. You know what I mean? We're being honest with you. If you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, that's fine. We're not going out of the way to fake a video or be funnier in any way. We take it serious and stuff too. So absolutely.
right.
Have you ever had people who have wanted to come with you? Because
Oh,
I'm going to be honest,
jeez.
I want to come with
Yeah,
you.
I'd like
Megan-
to
How
go.
many now?
We
Megan
want-
wants to come with us.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I wouldn't mind it. I'd be more than willing. And be
I was
like,
just
"Sure."
we are definitely more than willing. If you guys are all open to it, why not? You know what I mean?
When you do it, because again, referencing the shows, or like we had talked about here about 9 years ago, and the name escapes me, but there was a paranormal investigation team that came to look at our Fox Theater downtown.
Yep.
They did it at night. Do you specifically do it at night? Do you do it during the day? Do you find that it doesn't matter when you're doing your
I
investigations?
believe if a place is haunted, it's going to be haunted whether
Yeah.
it's during day or night. So
yeah.
it doesn't really matter. Nighttime, just because we're available more during night. But yeah, we do it during the day or night. It doesn't really matter to us.
So
I'd say
the
it
whole
doesn't
witching
matter,
hour
yeah.
is kind of...
The
what is
3
that
a.m.
about?
thing, I do believe in. I've
Why
done
is it
2
3
videos.
a.m.?
I don't. It's a trinity of God, is what it is. Like it's a mockery of God, I guess is what you call it. Where at 3 p.m. is when Christ supposedly was resurrected.
Oh, okay.
I believe is how it went. And then 3 a.m. is the devil's way of mocking Jesus and God and the stuff that happened during that point. So at 3 a.m., like we've noticed that things get a little stronger and a lot more. What am I looking for? More open to speak and be, oh, look at me, you know what I mean? And that's usually between, 4 a.m., somewhere in that region,
I catch
generally.
stuff all the time. So.
But with Becca, like, her attachment, whatever's attached to her is, like, extremely strong. And I think, it probably started from your Ouija board, wasn't it?
No, dude. It
We're
pretty much
going to
started
have to go further back, huh?
because I had the dowsing rods before I had the Ouija board.
Oh, jeez. So, yeah, it's further back than even that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of curious because it's funny because I mean obviously your brother and sister,
Right.
you've had this connection your whole lives and been doing this for a while. Are there any members of your family that look at you during Thanksgiving that are like these why'd you invite the crazy ones? Like why are they, you know what I mean? Is there anybody that just kind of, or has they all been, and not to say that you wouldn't be accepted by your family, but
Right.
you know what I mean? Is there anybody in your family that's like, why are you guys doing this? This is silly.
Truthfully, no. We have an aunt that,
I think everybody's pretty open to it.
yeah, I was going to say our aunt is extremely open to it. She even gets on her asses about, being prepared, like cautious, being prepared for what we're going to do.
Especially using the Ouija board.
Yeah, I mean, she is up and down my neck about that Ouija board. You know what I mean? But
I can understand why.
Yeah.
right.
Because
Right.
even I'm sitting here going, really? Really?
I gotta ask, is the Ouija board not that it would matter, I don't think, but I'm just is it like old? Is it wood? Is it carved? Or is it like the Milton Bradley, go down to the store and get it cardboard?
It's the kind that you go down to the
Yeah, I was going to
store
say, you
and
just
get it.
went down the
It's
store and
not-
pick it up. It's not, the fancy wood,
Right.
marble, all that good stuff, And, I mean, you could make one by paper and pen, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I believe that depending on whatever you're attempting to do. I mean, if you're seriously reaching out, yeah, you're going to get something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, it could be a sheet of paper, man, with letters on it, you know,
Right.
or a yes or no, and then boom, you know, something will happen for you.
Right. Because when I've had conversations with people about stuff like this, and Ouija boards come up, they're like, "Oh, that bullshit Milton Bradley like cardboard. You ain't getting nothing off that. You need something
Right,
that's
man.
made from like an old oak tree etched in the blood of a holy man." You
Right,
know, like,
right.
You know what I mean? They're expecting some kind of weird like Evil Dead shit.
Yeah, man, the Necronomicon,
Has to be
and all that
grounded to
shit,
the
man.
earth.
Yeah, like the
Right.
the pointer has to be made in human flesh. And,
Yeah.
you know, all that.
With the iris of the eye and everything.
Now we're getting to hocus pocus.
Right.
See?
But for you, what you're saying is basically like the board isn't necessarily the conduit. You are. It's just
Exactly.
the way to decipher what's being
Yeah.
said.
See, and I think that's where it comes back into, you know, we were talking about earlier with the balls of energy. I think that our energy pulls in, you know, those other energies that, you know, we perceive as orbs or we perceive as ghosts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't know. You know what I mean? We're not professionals. You know what I'm saying? We're just like everybody else.
I would say you are.
I mean, you know a lot about it for sure.
I would totally say you're professionals. Own that.
I mean, for all the years that we've been doing it, I think that like putting it to video is our first thing that we've ever done right now. But
It's been a hard road.
God, I was just saying, yeah, man, it's so hard to explain everything because it's like there's just been so much, you know.
Your YouTube channels. You separately have
Yes.
YouTube channels?
Yes.
Do you have a combined one? Because I was able to find each of
No.
your. Okay.
No combined ones.
That's an idea.
You guys should totally do a combine.
Yeah.
Okay, my marketing
Yeah.
mind. You guys should totally
Exactly.
do a one together.
Because you're doing the
Totally.
investigations together for the most part, right?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you totally
Okay.
need one together and then
Yeah.
monetize.
Not to
Exactly.
tell you guys what
Exactly.
to do, but
No, we
Yeah.
totally agree because it's been a thought, you know, and I think a lot of it is a name thing too. You know what I mean? Because I'm over here with Midwest Paranormal TV, and then you got Exploring with Becca. So I mean, it's a toss up now. Like, how can we combine that, make it one unit where everybody's like, well, shit, you know, we don't have to go to two channels no more. We can just go directly to the one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I totally agree. I think having the one channel eventually would really benefit us a lot.
I mean, it would be neat.
It would be, you know.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think
I think so.
Yeah. And this is the first time you guys have ever done a podcast. Jesse was
Yeah.
saying, yeah.
Yeah.
So how?
It's not as
How
bad
long-
as it used.
No,
No.
no.
It's just
She was
basically
super,
shooting the
super
wind.
drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Just
was.
don't pay no attention to that camera way up there on the shelf.
It's actually still working too, so that's good.
Right, the
Thank
microphone's in
you,
our face.
Whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's giving us his time to speak. So.
Watch now, it's gonna.
I know.
Oh.
No
So
audio,
we
just
gave
on.
it the acknowledgement,
It
and
would
then
be-
everything's gone.
Honestly, and I'm not saying this to put this out there, and I hope it doesn't happen.
Oh,
But
no.
if we get done with this, and you try to send me the audio, because normally she'll edit the
no.
video for the most part, unless we're using my computer or in different situations, and I'll deal with the audio, uploading the audio, and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. But if she goes in and tries to send me audio, and there's huge chunks missing or something like that,
Man.
I mean, we're gonna have to find a way to redo this, or just put it out there and be like, "This is what happened."
I know, right? It's just like
Um,
I don't know. I almost like to have the backup. We should have maybe did like a phone as well.
Right? Like have a phone, your camera,
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff running.
But then something else would have happened.
Well, if
Yeah.
it did mess up, we'd be
Yeah,
more
the
than
first
willing to come
thing,
back down
yeah.
and
See,
do
the
it.
first thing that came to my mind is maybe picking up EVPs as we're having this conversation.
Well,
as it is,
yeah.
You never
You
Maybe
know,
you'd
or
be
a
able
ball
to-
of light blasting right through all of a sudden.
All I've heard in my headphones, because we do have a window open because it's such a beautiful day today.
And the cat was outside.
There was a
Okay.
cat
we
outside.
did hear the cat.
Because
That
I
was my
heard,
cat.
I heard,
That was my cat.
Yeah, because when
Yeah,
we
we heard the cat.
we were listening to check the audio, Jesse's like, "Do I hear a meow or some sound like that?" And I didn't hear it.
I didn't either. I was like, what?
And then we got started
Right.
talking, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"That's a motherfucking meow in my ear."
Yeah, dude.
I heard it.
He got hardcore into that right,
Right,
after
then
that.
I
I'm like,
heard-
jeez.
Jerome got really
Right.
freaked out for a second.
Then there's a cat, and then I heard like a low rumble, and I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm like, and then the other part of my brain kicked in. It's like, motorcycle, stupid. You're right by a road. It's right over there, and there's cars on it. So, if anybody hears a cat sound,
you
we've
will hear a
confirmed the cat.
scream as well because I did hear that.
Yeah, and I did hear a scream too. So whatever that was.
That is no, that's from over there. That's fine.
Oh.
I hear that all the time.
Oh,
Yeah, I
from-
wondered too, but I was like, nah.
Yeah.
Too
Well,
far
there's
away.
there's a brewery right over there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, that makes
yeah,
all the
so
sense
there-
for all the screaming then.
So we've already debunked certain things, just not why your computer still worked when you shut your computer off and
Yeah.
your
Right.
camera was
That
working.
one I don't know.
Usually just electronics, isn't it? Especially with us lately, man. Or it could be a broom, man. All of a sudden you go to sweep and the damn head falls off. Like, what the hell, man? Complete, just out of nowhere kind of stuff. So, yeah.
What is probably the weirdest thing that has ever happened to you guys? What's something that really sticks out in your head?
Gosh.
Probably the 3 scratch marks I ended up getting on my back.
I see yours is pretty recent. See what
Yeah, I thought I saw
Really?
you
Yeah.
posted a picture
Yeah.
on Facebook about that recently.
Yeah, unfortunately the picture didn't do it justice, but man, you
Oh,
can
no.
really see it in person. It just came out of nowhere, and I felt like my back was burning.
Yeah.
And right before that, we were hearing weird noises, and me and my boyfriend at the time, and I had him look at my shoulder, and sure enough, I had 3 scratch marks going down. I think which tattoo was it? My son's?
Yeah, it was over Gage's
Yeah, my son's
name.
footprints.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't they say that's like a demon?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be some kind of demonic force or
Yeah.
entity or, following, whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, because shortly after that, I had something similar happen, like right across the back of the forearm. And then video we were recording at my grandmother's, well, it's my Uncle Bobby's house now, but I was getting up off the bed, and it felt like somebody literally came up and grabbed the back of my shirt and tried to yank me back down. I thought maybe I just got caught on the bed, you know what I mean? Nothing, but I turn around, there ain't nothing there. Well, at that moment in that video, a light comes blaring by the screen right in front of my grandmother's little TV. Her room is still the same way it was when she passed away. So, I mean, that, like we were getting at earlier, was it a ball of energy? Mm-hmm. Was it the fact that my grandmother was so used to that place because she passed away and she had Alzheimer's? So that was like the last spot that she truly remembered in her home. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe that's where she stayed, you know what I mean? Like, because that's what she knew, that's what she remembered.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, to me, it still gets to me because I can't go to that house. Like, every time I go there, like, I stayed there for a little while with an ex, and it's just a vibe. Like, it's a really creepy feeling. Like, I got pictures outside by the garage, remember, where we got like a full apparition standing on the opposite side of the garage.
But you can find those on YouTube.
Yeah, and that's on YouTube too. And then the pictures of the orbs around that house are just wow. I mean, there's probably a good 50, 60 of them just floating around that entire house. I mean, and you walk in there and it's like whoa, man, it's a cold, just, I don't know, like empty feeling.
Yeah.
It's a scary place.
Well, and I was going to say, because we were talking before too at the theater.
Oh yeah.
I'll be there at night sometimes, and you just get certain areas, you get a weirder feeling than others, and it could be because it's dark, it could be because it's so vast, all the noises of boilers kicking on and off and stuff. But sometimes when you're in, especially the balcony, which you got to go up there to shut off the movie projector and those kinds of things. And after you've cleaned up and everything's done, you walk up there, and whoever does it's usually by themselves, and it's just this weird feeling of being up there, and you're shutting off lights. So as you're walking around, I carry around a flashlight anyway, just because it's a movie theater, so we get started. But I have that thing on because as I'm leaving, I'm shutting off lights and making it darker as I'm trying to head down the stairs, which can mess with you,
Yeah.
But it does, that eerie feeling, like you were saying. Some places you go in and you just get that.
Yeah. Man. You could be sitting in a room fully lit and still feel completely out of place.
Yeah.
Like
So-
you don't belong in there. You know what I mean?
I have had that feeling before.
Yeah.
I used to work at the Visitors Bureau for a long time, and we went through a massive amount of moves in a very short period of time. And one of those moves was the old Kmart building, but we were in the old INS side of it, and it had full-fledged jail cells in the back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And there would be times where you would just go back there and you get this energy and this feeling like you should not be back here. And so we actually had to have the whole place staged.
Wow.
Blessed.
Holy moly.
It was weird. It was really weird.
That's
Yeah.
a very powerful thing right there, man.
Just the residual
Jeez.
energy, I think.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
find that is something that maybe plays a part into it too? Like energy? Like the residualness of a traumatic thing happening in a
Yes.
location?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you think about that, that's hella traumatic.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, like with the murders in particular, I think that, being bluntly removed from life does leave a very huge impact. You know what I mean? Like, we were speaking earlier with our aunt that, some tragic happened to her. That place was actually torn down because they just couldn't get nobody in there.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it was all nice and taken care of and remodeled, blah, 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 it was that impact of 2 lives being ripped apart that, I think left that place so horribly haunted that nobody wanted nothing to do with it. You know, and the backstory behind it too made it even worse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that place in particular, nobody wanted nothing to do with it because it just had that feeling like, just get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? Just that horde, violent feeling is all it was.
Well, and like you said earlier, sometimes you go into a place and you just get that feeling and you take it as a warning sign to get out.
Yeah.
Is there, do you just, how to word the question? I know what I'm trying to say here. Like when you get that feeling, have you always just said, we need to get the hell out of here? Or is that a learned thing where you're like, I feel a little weird, but we're going to keep pushing into it, and you learn through experience when you get that feeling, get out?
Yeah, you had to
It's a
learn
learned
it the hard way,
experience.
basically. Yeah, you got to basically learn that one the hard way because, like with Becca, you know, her scratch marks.
Right, you should
Yeah, exactly. Like,
But-
ugh.
We're dumb and we like to push the limits.
Sometimes, I don't know, like, we haven't had to push the limit to really get an answer, but with her recent stuff happening to her, I mean, her scratch marks were just, probably not even a month ago, right? Somewhere in there.
Yeah, something like that.
And that right there is pushing an envelope, you know what I mean? I mean, we're really jumping the boundary trying to make something, you know what I mean? And now it's starting to give us back more and more than we've ever asked for, which is cool in the same price, but it's also one of them things where it's like, maybe slow down a little bit. But it's like, no, we're not going to. Hell no, we're definitely not going to.
So you guys have totally seen like the aggressive,
Yes.
I will say demonic side of it.
Yes.
Have you also come in contact with the entities that are completely peaceful? Like you said, children. Mm-hmm. Have you come in contact with them and got some interesting sad remarks or wanting to play or anything?
I've had a little boy that said "Hi, Mom" to me a couple
Yes, a
different
little
times,
boy.
and not really sure who it is because you have to be careful too because sometimes what you hear for voices isn't really what you're talking to.
What do you mean?
Let's say like the ghost box that I like to use at necrophonic, it gives me like the little boy sound, but I don't know if it's really him or if it's like some demon trying to interact with me and get me. What am I looking for here?
It wants your attention. Basically.
Disguising itself.
Yeah, it's
it
disguising
wants me
itself,
to be
yeah.
like, yeah, I'm safe. You can talk to me, you know, and then like, yeah. I don't know.
That's happened, 3, maybe 4 times now. Like just my experience with the little girl saying daddy and dad and
I
just
don't think
and
they're all
repetitively.
bad.
No, I don't think they're all bad, but the vibe you get when that comes through is like, it's not a child. It does not feel like a little kid. It does not feel like a child trying to reach out to you. Whatever that is negative, and it wants negative attention is what it's doing. So, I mean, on the good side of everything, I don't know if we've really had anything good come out of all this yet. You know
It's
what I mean?
hard to believe that that children, especially, I could see where
Yeah.
it would be trying to be misleading.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to believe that a child would actually have
Right.
negative impact.
Yeah. You know,
Right.
and I think that's a lot of it right there. And like, ugh. You know, it's scary because it's like, you know, it's not a kid. Because the vibe that comes with it, like the hairs on your arm start to stand up, the hairs on the back of your neck, and you're like, oh, that's not a child.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You have to probably be pretty self-aware of
Oh, yeah.
things about you to be able to kind of do this too, because for you to be able to feel those vibes coming off of an entity, an energy, whatever you want to call it, you have to be pretty in tune to yourself. How do you interpret those things that are coming through for you?
You
be
mean
able
like
to
the
listen to
feelings,
those.
basically?
Yeah, basically.
Like taking
Yeah,
the vibe
feelings.
of it? Yeah. Shit, I don't know. I think it's just the way you feel about it. You know what I mean? It's like,
I would say it's just a feeling for me.
I say it's
go
just a
with it.
feeling. It's hard to explain. It's like, your body's telling you something. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do that. You know, because if you don't, naturally you start getting the stuff that happens to us. You know?
So where, here in town in North Platte, where are some of the places you've investigated?
The Platte Cemetery
Yep.
is one of them. Buffalo Bills Ranch.
Yep.
Which you had shown us before the
Yes.
podcast, the
Oh,
video
yeah.
of the child screaming, essentially,
Yes.
that you took from there, which, I mean, if that's a child screaming, that kid's in trouble, because that was eerie. It
See,
sounded
to
like...
me,
Yeah.
if you guys listen to it later if you want on headphones, but it almost sounds like an adult woman.
Okay.
Almost like
Either sickly or just something. It's
something
hard.
is
Yeah, it's
actually
hard to
tormenting
explain.
her. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
it's you guys heard it. I mean,
Yeah, oh
it's,
yeah.
it's
No,
odd.
it sounds not good. Yeah, whatever's happening is not good. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
Oh, no, you're
the
fine.
cemetery, and Buffalo Bill's Ranch.
We've been to, well, the sad part is we've been to a few houses too that have now been demolished, you know.
Yeah, we like to check out a lot of abandoned areas too.
As for like direct locations, addresses, all that, we don't actually know the addresses.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
And even in our videos, like if we're in a certain spot, we don't tell you where we are because we don't want somebody coming back in and destroying a property that's already destroyed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And getting
absolutely.
in trouble and all that. So,
Right.
Locations. I mean, Jesus, pretty much anything around North Platte that's been abandoned or.
And the Soldiers Memorial.
Oh yeah, and the Soldiers Memorial. That was kind of an odd one too because you get that feeling that man, there's a lot of sadness.
We went to Hershey too and checked out some areas up there and
Yeah.
Maxwell.
Yeah, we went to Maxwell. That was kind of a sad journey.
I bet you Fort McPherson.
Fort McPherson, we have not been there yet. That is one we were planning on doing. We have been as far up as, what's the cemetery up south of here? I can't even remember the name of that place all of a sudden.
And it's because we couldn't get into it.
Oh, yeah. I think that was
It
a
was
lot of it,
private
too.
property.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, there were
right.
certain times where you couldn't be here, you couldn't be there. We can't go anywhere, of course. It's, no trespassing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Well,
do
we
any of that.
can, but
We don't push the envelope that hard, you know what I mean? But
Right.
I don't know. As for locations, it's hard to just kind of spit them out there because
Right.
we don't really know where they are, but we
Mhm.
just know like where they're located. Like the ones that were behind Whiskey Creek that are now gone, those were cool. God, where was some of the other ones? There was a few on Fifth Street that are now either condemned completely because the floors have caved in. There was an entire abandoned neighborhood right off of Fifth Street. We actually did 2 videos there, and then our third time to finish it, we were actually kicked out.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, there was like 200 no trespassing signs everywhere. So we kind of
Right.
gave up on that spot, man. So basically, yeah, I mean, trying to pinpoint all of them is pretty hard to do because we've been a lot of places.
Where are some places that you want to go?
Oh,
Fox
man.
Theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pawnee Hotel. If they hear this, I hope they allow us to do both. You know what I mean?
And I already said it once before, but Stanley Hotel.
Oh yeah, man. Jeez.
I would love to see you guys go into the museum because
Yeah.
because you guys said that you guys have never been there.
Nope.
There's an entire village of buildings that have been brought in from 1800s,
Oh, wow.
old churches. There's a Sears Roebuck house where literally the 2 people died. They picked the house up with everything in it and brought it to the museum
Holy
and
moly!
set
really?
it down.
Yeah.
So that would be a
Jeez.
super cool one for you guys
would
to
be
go
awesome.
into.
That'd be
Well, and I
awesome.
would think even
Way awesome.
inside the museum,
Yeah.
the artifacts in there.
Because
there's-
how many times have I gone, Jim, did you hear that?
Yeah.
And he goes, shut up, Ginger. It's not.
Because I mean, there's people's obviously old dresses, buttons,
Yeah, yeah.
clothes. That the machine gun that was fished out of the river,
The iron lung.
the iron lung.
Holy
There's an iron
moly,
lung in there,
man.
an old car. So I mean, going under the idea that energy attaches to something.
Yeah.
I mean, that place would probably have quite a bit.
Oh,
and
gee,
Jim, the
man.
curator, I don't think he'd have any problem with us telling everybody as we told you
He's a
guys,
Right.
he's a skeptic,
skeptic.
total skeptic.
Absolutely.
But that's another one of those because we've recorded some episodes out there at night.
Yeah.
And
Sweet.
that's another one out there when you're walking out to your car, and maybe it's just because it's dark, and those old buildings, they're not lit. So
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
a bunch
There's
of
a yard
big,
light.
Yeah, there's a yard light, but that's it. And big, old, giant structures. But there's just something about being on those grounds that it's like you just feel like, I need to get to my car and get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
only
man.
time I've ever creeped out when I've been out there at night was when this stupid windmill is going, and it is the
it is- it
creepiest
just
damn sound.
creaks.
Sweet.
It's just like this.
Yeah, like something out of a horror
Oh
movie.
man, yeah.
It is horrible.
There's been times I'm like, Jim, you gotta fix that.
Right. Oh, that sounds awesome though. Jeez.
You haven't yet. I don't think we talked a little bit about it before, and I don't think you said you've been out there. But any interest in going out to the old Ann Cook property and doing that?
Oh yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
anywhere.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Everyone
that
knows
was.
anywhere.
You know, it's funny. Our mother even mentioned that one because she wants to go with us to that one. Like,
That would
and
be
mom getting out and
fascinating.
about. You know what I mean? She's like, yeah, that's cool. You know what I mean? But she actually brought that up. She's really interested in going out there. So yeah, I think that'd be sweet.
Just some of the
Wow.
other buildings downtown too.
Yeah.
That would be super interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, we've only gotten into maybe 2 of those, I think. And those are actually buildings that, we have a connection with, so we're cool. But It's like, there's only two, man. It's like we got Hotel Pawnee like right next to it, and we can't go in there. You know what I mean? And then you got all the old ones surrounding that we can't get into. And so it's like, okay, this is frustrating because who do we talk to? You know what I mean? So hopefully something comes up. You know what I mean? That'd be cool, man.
And everybody we do talk to, they shut us down.
Oh, yeah, we've
even
been
had a
shut
chance
down
to,
hard.
like, get out there, so it's like...
Why do you think that is? Just they don't...
I think if it's a business, I think to them, I feel like maybe it presents a problem where they're, these people are going to scare these people away from, coming to my attraction and, whatnot, like with the theater in particular. But everybody in town and around this whole area knows that place is extremely haunted. If it's good or bad, nobody knows. It's probably a 50-50. But I think that has a lot to do with it right there. Is that, it's just going to drive people out of here, But on the plus side, if people really thought about it, it's going to bring you more attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it be good or bad. I mean,
exactly.
And you still got your skeptics, and then you got those people that, like we said, every little sound is, it's haunted, No. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with that,
I think, like we talked about, going downtown, going through all those buildings, especially the parts that haven't been, even the parts that have been renovated, but the parts the public doesn't necessarily get to see, the upstairs, the back storerooms, all those. It would be interesting what you find, given some of the darker history of North Platte, which is a history that a lot of people don't like talking about.
Which is so weird
Which
to
is
me.
so, yeah.
Because for me,
it's fascinating.
It is fascinating, and there's so many people that are interested in it. And let's get real, it's history. You can't change your history, even if you don't talk about it. So you might as well talk about it and be able to bring those people who are actually interested in it about it to
It's like
your
they're
town
trying
to
to hide
spend
it.
money.
Yeah, I think downtown would benefit, especially like around Halloween, having like an old Chicago tour where you go through and show them. It would be dark and macabre in some instances, yes, but there are a lot of people around here, and I'm sure I'm not trying to be like stereotypical, like you guys have tattoos, you have black eyeliner on, you guys know the weird people. No, but they're
Story, though.
I mean,
but he ain't wrong though. You know what I mean?
But there's, and myself included, there's enough people I think who would be interested in seeing, just out of sheer curiosity, here's where the back alley abortions took place.
Yeah.
Here's where this dead body was found.
Yes.
Here's where the bootlegging happened.
Yep.
That would be a very interesting tour to take.
I'm a nerd, and I would love to know that.
Well, and even history buffs
I guess
would
we're
want
nerds
to.
too, because I love
I'm
this.
a nerd when it comes
man.
to history. So.
It's like, jeez.
I really think that downtown association, especially after they get the renovation done, because you don't want a bunch of people trouncing around then. But
All right.
But you walk around and you'll see all this beautiful like landscaping and lights
Yeah,
and
yeah,
renovation,
man.
and then you walk it down this alley and it's like, oh, by the way, some guy was just gutted right here.
Exactly, man. It's like they try to hide it, and it's like, what is the point of that? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like we're trying to build over something that was dark, but like you said, it's a part of our history. You know what I'm saying? Why try to throw it out the window?
And I do
You know
love
what I mean?
the old downtown. We've actually gotten
Yeah.
to go upstairs into a couple of them, of our buildings that we...
Yeah, that's where I was getting at earlier. Like,
And some
I
of
need
them are
more,
crazy
man.
because they're so old. So old inside. And I actually have YouTube videos on them if you ever want to check them out. I'm not going to say where they're at because, But they're pretty neat. And some of the things you hear on it, you don't know if you're hearing, like, creepy stuff or if it's, like, just because how old the place is. But
it's and again, it goes back to a vibe. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You know something's there. I mean,
Old
you catch something
downtown
at the side of your eye. It's like, well, what was that? You know what I mean? There's definitely something up there. You know, it's got to be. You know what I mean? This place is old. It really is.
Yeah.
You know?
like the old gurney that we might have found upstairs in that one.
Oh, yeah, the half a gurney. Yeah.
Half a like hospital gurney.
Yeah, it was a half of a hospital
Oh
gurney.
shit.
Yeah.
I don't know where the other half is. We haven't found it yet, but we did find
it
part
almost
of
looks
it.
like a baby gurney.
Oh.
Like
Ooh.
a kid type. Yeah.
It kind of does. It's a real small one. It's
So
got four little
there's-
wheels, man. Like, ooh.
A house here in town that is uber duper haunted.
Nice.
It's across the street from the Liberty House, the pink one.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
That one.
Yes.
One of my friends, she was doing an article for the Telegraph, and she was with the realtor, and because they were trying to sell the houses at that time, and they were kind of trying to go into the hauntedness of it. And she just looked over at her and goes, "So where are all these ghosts?" And it was the heat of the freaking summer. There's no air conditioning in this house. There's no air coming in or out. There's no windows open. Nothing. 3 doors slam.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I guess it's super duper
Man.
haunted.
Huh.
And I've heard some other stories in that one. That one would be a neat one for you guys to go
Oh
to.
man, I would love that one.
It used to be an old hospital, if I remember my
I
history.
believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's weird shit in that one, or at least there used to be really weird shit.
I think it's what Mom was talking about too. She wants us all to check out eventually. Man, that's crazy. I wish
would
we
be a
could.
neat one.
Man,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Do you have you ever thought about, and again, not telling you guys how to do your thing, but have you ever thought about, like, I don't know about advertising, or maybe you have done this, reach out on Facebook and say, hey, like, if you have a place that you think is haunted, we would love to come and take a look at that. It sounds like you've kind of done that a little bit downtown.
Yeah, we've tried.
I was just saying, we have tried. Yeah, I was saying, I think Becca's taken a huge shot at that a bunch of times, but
it's pretty much finding who the right person is to go to.
yeah.
For. Like, I mean, I always get all these people that say, yeah, hit me up and all blah, 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 and it never goes anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, it just turns into a rat race where it's, oh, I'll get a hold of you tomorrow. Oh, I'll get a hold of you in a week. All right, can we do this next weekend? It's like, okay, I give up. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but it's like, all right, we've got a lot of things that we got to do, and we don't have as much time, as most people would. So it's like, okay, we got to do this now, or it's never going to get done. So,
Yeah.
Well,
like you guys said, you have kind of weird work schedules and,
yeah.
Monday through Friday and all that. I mean, you do have full-time jobs aside from this and a life outside of it
exactly.
as well.
We both got kids, so it's a constant, okay, we got to keep going, man. You know?
Yeah. Man, I see, and there's the one house in there that Jim told us about, and I don't know where it is.
Which one?
The one with the cells in the basement
Oh, the
for
dungeon
no
or
reason.
the jail cell that's down there for no reason.
Yeah, there's apparently a house in the basement that there's a jail cell. It was never a jail. It was never. There's no reason for this jail cell to be in this basement of this house.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yet it's in there, and I mean, that would be interesting. It would just be interesting to go in and see what you find in those places.
I was wondering this a while back. Do you guys ever bring in like a psychic or anything to go explore with you?
No.
No.
Would be neat, though. Definitely wouldn't be closed-minded to it. Though.
Yes, I think that would be kind of cool, to be honest with you. Like, I was just kind of pondering that.
There was one, but their business shut down. You'd think they'd have saw that coming. For real. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it just dawned on me when he's talking about. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like psychic readings, and then all of a sudden, just like, it's shut down. So I wouldn't call that one.
Right. See, that's kind of where we're kind of like, I don't know about it. But yeah, I'm kind of like, it's a 50-50 again. You know what I'm saying?
Right. What other, you use apps on the phone, the dowsing rods, the Ouija boards. Is there any other kind of equipment or anything like that you use? Is that it?
Nothing fancy, no.
Yeah.
Just grab a camera and try out an app, and the app, like I said, has proven itself time and time again. So, in less than a month, that thing's proved itself. So, why go spend $200-$300 on a little box? It's going to sit there and make so much staticky sound, you're not going to know what the hell you're listening to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, absolutely, keep it cheap.
Mind still using the actual
I wouldn't mind either, but
SB7 kind. But
we're still getting answered, so I'm not too worried about it.
You don't really have to spend a lot of money to get results.
No.
That's kind of cool.
So if anybody out there was, listening or watching and they're thinking about getting into ghost hunting, what would be some advice that you'd give them?
Grab your phone, grab your camera, and just go to it. Like, don't listen to everybody else. Just do your thing. You know what I mean? That's what we did. Started with watching a YouTube video one day. From who was it? Just one of them in particular, like Omar. Omar Gosh TV. Like, oh hey, you know what I mean? This guy had an idea, and that idea just flourished into the huge thing that he is now. So, a lot of it just comes from there. Like, oh, hey, grab your phone. Let's go. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, man.
Makes you happy, just do it.
Exactly. Just do what you're happy doing.
And don't, provoke it. Like he likes to.
Yeah, I'm guilty of the provoking. That's probably why I feel, a lot more things than some people should. But, it was worth it in the long run, it was definitely worth it.
So tell us about a time that you did provoke something happened.
Actually, I think my provoking is what caused her injury. But yeah, with me, it's weird because right after she got her scratch marks, I got one just out of nowhere, and I felt the same sensation. And it was the day after, like it was boom, boom. And that was for me. Okay, you know what? You're not showing me nothing. Blah blah blah. There's nothing going on. And then boom, there was my sign. And then things, just randomly falling off a shelf. You know what I mean? There was my other sign. And I'm like, okay, I better shut up for a little bit. You know what I mean? Let it do its thing, But yeah,
Huh. Well, I'm not trying to provoke anything.
Thinking maybe I staged the house afterwards. I don't know.
Probably. You can put some
It
sage
wouldn't
in.
hurt. It probably wouldn't hurt.
Saging can make it worse, though.
Oh, for real?
It
Really?
irritates it. Yeah.
Especially if it's like a really negative energy and you try to cleanse your house, it can make it 10 times worse.
We've actually seen the opposite. Or, oh man, I'm going to be okay, and actually things have gotten
I have
probably
actual sage, but I'm
shit tons
afraid
worse.
to use it because I don't
Yeah.
want to make anything that I have already in the house. I don't want to piss it off more.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So because you both seem obviously knowledgeable about these kinds of things, the paranormal activity. Right. Are these things that you've learned on your own? Have you done research into it as well?
I've researched and I've learned.
It's 50-50 again. Definitely. A lot of it came from hands-on, And then the rest of it, I'm going to Google this out just to see what causes this. Like cold spells in a room and all that good stuff. And it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, 50-50 for sure.
Wow. It's, like I said, a very interesting thing.
Makes my head just think of all kinds of...
Right? Like all I can think about is places I'd like to see investigated.
Right?
So...
I could make a call and we could go into the museum.
So
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Done
That was the
right
side. That's what's up, man. Yeah,
she's like, I got my phone. Fuck, there's an app on it.
I need a couple
I'm not
minutes
going
to charge.
without them.
Yeah, no.
Because my dumb ass would be like, oh, yeah, that was just wind.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
yeah, it's
something
just
brushes
cold
you
outside.
way too hard, like, whoa, you know what I mean?
Well, I think what's cool about it, and Jesse and I talked about this a little bit while we were waiting for the camera to record, which was recording the whole time.
That's crazy. It's cool, though.
You guys doing this, like you had talked about, this is something that you're going to do. You're not breaking into anywhere. You're not trespassing. You're not damaging anything. It's a positive thing that you see it as a positive thing that you're doing that keeps you out of trouble, and more people should be, like we talked about, like, I'm surprised more people, especially around here, don't have podcast YouTube channel.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know? I mean, you would think that there would be more doing that, but I think it's cool that you guys are
See, and that's one of our
doing
things. Yeah, I totally agree. That's one of the things we're trying to do. We're trying to promote, the goodness.
right.
You know what I mean? Don't sit at home. You know what I mean? If you got a drive in you, man, why not use it? You know what I'm saying? Get out there. Be exploring. You know what I mean? Do whatever it is that you do. Enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
Live, man. You know what I'm saying? Just live, basically.
Yeah. I think that's a really important message, especially like you guys are doing something that's out of the norm, obviously. Not everybody's doing it. Not everybody wants to.
Right, right.
But you decided, screw it, we're not going to sit at home and think, what if? We're just going to go out and do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So Becca,
Yeah.
I guess you prefer Becca.
It doesn't
matter. Your YouTube channel is Exploring with Becca,
Yep.
and it's BEKKA.
Yeah.
Because I did try looking for it earlier, and there's different ways to spell Becca.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So different channels were coming up. I'm like, this isn't what I'm looking for. And then yours is Midwest Paranormal TV.
Yeah.
Right.
'Cause right after I put that name out there, somebody came right up behind me and took Midwest Paranormal.
Oh.
So I came back out and fired back with the Midwest Paranormal TV, and that seems like it's catching more attention that way.
Okay.
As to where the other guy's at, he's got these little videos that are like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to dog on the guy, but yeah, I had to do the name change immediately. I think it was, a week after. I was like, geez, man, already.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sticks out. I don't like it, so.
Cool. Well, if anybody wants to find them on YouTube, again, Exploring with Becca, and that's BEKKA, or Midwest Paranormal TV. And then Midwest Paranormal TV has a Facebook page as well.
Yes.
Does Exploring with Becca as well? Yeah.
Yep.
So you can find them on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Again, though, I think combining that would be not a bad idea. You guys should start a podcast about paranormal shit too. Like,
Oh
why
my
not?
God, yeah.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Y'all gave us you guys really gave me that idea earlier, too.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Just simply because, I mean, we have a very niche market here. We're talking to North Platte.
You're
Yeah.
talking to everybody.
You're
who
talking
has
to
an
everybody who has an interest in it. Like, I mean, your podcast will become bigger than ours.
Very easily.
But yeah, I mean, you have a phone. And when I tried to do my own independent podcast a long time ago, which didn't work out, and we're not talking about that. I started on my phone. Like, you can download an app and record straight to your phone. And if you guys have any questions about mics or what, I mean, hit me up. Seriously, I'll help you out with as much knowledge as I have about it. You know, because if you guys, not saying you have to, but I'm sitting here listening to you to talk.
Fascinating.
It's fascinating, and you have enough stories.
Yes.
I know we've barely scratched the surface of what the hell you guys do.
Right.
Like, I want them back on again.
I do. Yeah, absolutely. I want to go with you sometime.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
love
make
to do
the
that.
calls to wherever we need to get in, and we will do it.
Hell yeah.
I
Give us
have,
next weekend.
I was gonna say next weekend. Shit.
well,
let's
and
do
I
this,
have
man.
I know a lady who lives out near the Ann Cook property.
Man.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, what happened?
It just stopped. The video's gone.
The video just stopped. Is that the screensaver? Oh my. Okay, the screensaver kicked on.
I was like,
Holy
no,
shit.
not already, man. I felt so bad.
For those of you watching the video, you saw it. I hope it recorded. For those of you not listening, we're talking. As soon as I mentioned the name Ann Cook, like, Ginger's jaw dropped. She points up, and I'm like, if that old bitch is standing behind me, this window isn't good. It's going to be like a cartoon where you just see the outline, and I'm out.
That has never happened before
You can see
either,
it
has
too,
it?
man. You can
Yeah,
see it,
no,
man.
that's never happened. So, but the
Oh,
screensaver
geez.
kicked on.
I'm used to seeing the screen.
No. When you're using...
recording.
Yes.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Okay, well, maybe we won't. Wink, wink. Go to Ann Cook's property if she's listening. But no, I know a lady who lives by there, so she knows where it is. So I mean, she knows exactly where that place is. I don't know if anybody owns that land though.
I don't know.
Like that, and see, that would be the downside. Like, especially places like that, you got to get a hold of the landowner. You got to get permission, which you guys have run into.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, a lot.
yeah,
Michael has Onyx. We can use Onyx, figure out exactly who owns it, get the phone number.
See, there we go.
yeah,
Look
we're
at
fine.
that.
Yeah, we'll call
yeah.
them and say,
So next weekend.
you.
This is very helpful.
Just
Very helpful.
as soon as we call him, like, you probably get this question a lot, but we would love to go on your property.
Now, what's the answer going to be, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, please don't
Like,
come out with a
we'll pay
shotgun
you.
screaming at me, man.
Right.
You know?
But yeah, I was just thinking, like, talking to you, I know, and talking off air, you shared some other stories, and just as much as you have going on, as much as you guys continue to do, I think it would be an interesting thing. I'm just throwing that idea out
It'd
there.
be
too.
fascinating.
Absolutely.
It would be. I think.
Absolutely.
You don't have to have all of this
No.
to do it to begin with either.
It's way easier than this.
Yeah, we went a little too far, I think, in the beginning. Well, we
Not
we knew
really,
we were going to have
really.
multiple guests
Right,
on, so
right.
we
We
needed
did.
mics and stuff. But
I think it's beautiful.
Because we
really.
have
Yeah.
like a vision.
yeah, we had a vision, and we needed
And it's
a
still
studio.
there. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
well,
I see
it
it.
still is. Yeah.
We walked in and I was like, damn, man, this is nice. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't even going to BS. That is nice. It really
But-
is.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you guys, you both as well, also have a vision.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's really awesome that you're doing that and not giving a shit what other people think.
Yeah.
Because this is, again, one of those things that can be easily mocked. You know what I mean? Or
Right. But and you're not seeing it yet. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's what we want to do. I mean, truthfully, I have to thank Becca right off the bat because I was not going anywhere. You know, I kind of felt like I just hit the dead point in my life where, I don't know, like I was not accomplishing what I was seeing in my head. So I just kind of gave it up. Well, Becca came along and she started a YouTube channel probably, a good 6 months before I even bothered.
Yeah, if not a year.
Oh, it might even been a year, yeah. Well, you know, I was into some trouble and whatnot, but anyways, she gave me that light and then just watched it flourish after that. I mean, it was from 15 subscribers for almost a half a year to a year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To 150, 250, and now up to, 500 and a half, you know what I mean, roughly. And that's why I say I really thank Becca, because without her getting out there and doing it, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a huge thank you to her, you know what I mean? And she edits our videos, as you guys can see. They're gorgeous, you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
really are. She does kick ass on it.
No, I think that's outstanding. So, again, it's Exploring with Becca, BEKKA. Make sure you get that in there. In Midwest Paranormal TV.
We'll
And-
put links.
Yeah, we'll
and
put
everything.
links on our social medias and stuff too, so people can find you.
Sweet.
when we post the episode, which hopefully all the editing.
God, I hope this goes okay.
Hopefully everything stays where we got it.
Right,
man.
like that is so. Just your face, I swear, because I invoked the name of she who shall
Yeah,
not be named. She's like Voldemort
Yep.
around here. And as soon as your face went, I was like, no, fucking no. If I turn around and it's an old lady, I'm shitting.
Dude, I don't know. I about shit with you, man. When she jaw dropped, I was like, "Oh shit, what happened now?" I'm looking around. I'm like, "Okay, where is it, man?"
Right?
You know,
Weird equipment issue. We'll have to see, and I damn sure want to hear or watch.
You're gonna
that first
you're gonna
8.
be like taking the audio and like pulling everything up so you can hear.
I am. I'm gonna be.
it is a good idea.
I'm gonna fine tooth comb this audio, man.
It is a good idea.
And every little noise, I'm like, is that a scream? No, it's that fucking cat again. It's that goddamn cat again. Every time. But
She has a weird meow too.
it is.
She does have a weird meow.
It does too. That's what got me off the bat in the beginning of the video. I was like,
But
what
she has
the
like
hell
different
was
meows
that?
too. Like she has one when she's out in the garage because that's where she has to live. Because she peed in my closet, and I was like, "You're done." But it's like heated, so she's fine. But anyway, she has this really cute like thing that she
Yeah.
does, and
See, I think I
then whatever the
caught
hell
that
that
one
was.
That was. Oh, they're doing a paranormal.
was
podcast.
Right,
We
right.
should-
Cute
Let's
one.
hurry and get in there and get that one, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the creepy one.
Yeah, she's a weird cat.
I know everybody's looking at to see where it might have gone.
Right? Yeah. Now we're all looking for the cat. Like, is the cat still in the garage? Is it the cat,
It's
or is
gonna
it?
give us the meow
a
goodbye
cat?
on the way out.
Yeah.
A cat. We do have a lot of cats out here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are kind of out here.
Yeah.
Where the cats roam in the country. A bunch of weird feral country cats fucking with us. So, right? They're just under the.
So my neighbors get funny cat story. My neighbors are gone because they went and were watching their house. And they're cats. And they have this one cat named Sassy. She's a fucking spaz. She's absolutely hilarious. I love her. But she's like in the trees yesterday, just like hovering, like just like walking
All up
around,
in the
like on
trees,
the
man.
branches, like the evergreen trees, walking around meowing. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
Jeez.
They're
Man.
interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
She's a weird cat too.
Walking outside, like, what the hell, man?
Right.
Come on now.
My husband calls. He's like, Ginger, come look at this cat. I'm like, all right.
You know, that's interesting. Hey, come here, look at this. Like, oh, hey, okay.
Yeah. I'm checking out that first 8 minutes. See what
Dude,
we
you
got.
have to, man.
I'm gonna have to.
You're gonna have to message me and let me know, man.
I will. Like I might. We may just like when you send me the audio, just send me all of it, and I'll edit it.
Okay.
The first 8 minutes or whatever out. But I want that first 8 minutes, and I can send you guys the MP3, and we can all kind of listen to
Oh, yeah.
that
That'd
first
be
8 minutes.
awesome.
It could be nothing,
It could be. It could be a, what the hell did he say? That
I'm
wasn't
hoping I
him,
didn't
man.
delete it, guys. I really am hoping I didn't delete it
I don't know. Well, no,
We're
'cause
gonna
we-
find out.
because it was its own separate one.
well, it was its own separate one.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, we'll have to just check that. Hopefully, we still have it. I hope we still have it. But yeah, for those
Fingers
listening
crossed,
or
okay.
watching, swear we restarted the computer.
Yeah.
It wasn't working. Got it working. Hopefully, this worked.
And it's not even October.
And, yeah, and the screensaver didn't come on after like normal screensaver time, like 10
No.
minutes, 15
I mean,
minutes.
how long
yeah.
have we been doing this? An hour and 7 minutes?
Yeah, like around the hour-ish mark, it kicked on.
I've still never.
Well,
seen
we're
it
using
Never.
a program.
Never. Yeah, never seen that happen.
Man, see? Here we go again.
Oh, boy. If I can walk out of here and my phone's not working, thank you, because I need a new phone. So
Right.
that would be
Thank you. But, like, damn, all at the same time, man.
Like, I got to get a new phone, but
Oh, man.
fucking upgrade. Just go home, honey. We got to get a new phone.
Right,
okay?
right.
So
There you
fucking
go, man.
ghosts, they did it.
The
Yeah,
ghost. Ann Cook was there. She was fucking with the computer. She was messing with my phone.
Excellent.
Well, Becca, Jesse, both of you, thank you guys so much for taking the time.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
No,
And let's
honestly,
do something
man.
again.
Opportunity for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And
no,
if it-
truthfully, thank you guys.
Yeah,
For real, man.
and if we can work it out, or together or separately, to join you on an investigation, if you're okay with that, I would love to do that.
I would
too.
love
That
to do
would
it
be-
as well.
Very okay with that.
Yeah.
Very, yes.
Yes, that would be awesome. So, for those of you who are watching or listening, we'll have links to the YouTube channels, Facebook pages, information where you can find both Jesse and Becca, and follow the work that they do, obviously. And if it interests you, like Jesse said, grab your phone, give it a try.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
Your equipment could just freak you out in the middle of a podcast. You never know what could happen. And if you also have any show ideas, you want to reach out to us, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram, NP Nutshell. You can also email us, npnutshell@gmail.com. So I guess that's it. Now
That's
we'll
it.
see. We'll see if it shuts off.
Oh, God, let's see if this works.
All right. Well, thanks again to our guests for joining us. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been North Platte in a nutshell. We're going to hit the stop button and hope that it stops and doesn't blow up your computer. All right. We'll see you later.